What's going on, guys? In the works, and it's finally here. Overwatch is here to stay. No more betas coming and going. The actual release of Overwatch is here. And I couldn't be more excited. I have been looking forward to this particular game for a really long time. It's been a while since I've gotten this excited about a new IP. I was actually at the BlizzCon where they announced this, and I got a chance to play it right then and there, and it's been a blast. I am so pumped that the game is finally released. But we're playing a little bit of Junkrat today, and you can see I don't do a very good job with his ultimate there. I was actually kicking myself in the foot for that one, but we're going to talk about this game in general, like just a little overview of my thoughts on the game. I'm playing my favorite character right now. I don't know why. I've always liked him. I like the Demo Man in TF2. He reminds me of a lot of that. But the reason why I like Junkrat is he's versatile. He's got a lot of tricks to kind of fool around with. It does take a lot of precision in playing your angles right. I know a lot of people look at Junkrat and they're like, oh, he's a noob character because you can just spam bombs, but they don't have a huge blast radius, so you do have to be fairly smart about your placement with it. We're going to watch two different matches, and the reason why we're going to watch two different frames of this match is we're going to look at how counters are so important in this game. Because that's the thing that I think a lot of people overlook in Overwatch, is it's not like your normal first-person shooter. I see a lot of complaints about the ultimates not really, quote, taking skill to use. You don't have to aim them, and that's all fine and dandy. I think that's a valid concern. But one thing you have to remember about Overwatch is you play the class that counters the other class. So for instance, I'm playing Junkrat. I think Junkrat's a great counter to when people have turrets like sort of bumped up in an area, or even when they have they go like 3 tanks. I remember I played a game last night during the release, and a team had all Roadhogs. And I used Junkrat, and we just went to town on him. I think at one part I had like a 4-piece with just my main weapon, not with my ultimate. So Junkrat is really good at countering stationary targets where they group up and they get together. And you'll see this a lot in the second part of round 2 here, where they just sort of hunker down on the objective, and it's really good at pushing them back off of it. But you hear a lot of people complaining about like the turret classes like Bastion just being overpowered. And they are frustrating, don't get me wrong. I've played a few matches even before this video where there was a Bastion on top of the objective just sort of moving along, and there wasn't really a lot we could do about it because they had a tank in front of it blocking, they had a healer. It was well coordinated. Is it overpowered and will it see nerfs? Maybe, I don't know. But I think there's a lot of good counters to classes like that. You get a team that has a good Widowmaker or even a good Pharah, they're going to counter a really good Bastion almost 90% of the time. Sometimes when you get in maps, like I think this map right here is a good example. If you had a Bastion here sort of grouped up, he really wouldn't be very effective at doing much of anything except for getting people on the point. So you're not really going to want a Pharah in that situation. But then again, you've got Junkrat who would counter something like that. So there's a lot of thought that goes into the classes in this game, and I think it's really important before you sort of gauge the game and just say out of the gate like, oh, this game is just like super unbalanced, Bastion's annoying. Focus more on the fun aspects and the counters and you should never be afraid or hesitant to switch characters on a whim, because that's what this game is all about. Is switching. So I guess you could say it's sort of like a game of counters. It's like rock, paper, scissors. There's always something that's going to be better against something else. So that's one thing to keep in mind. I mean, that's sort of like my first take on Overwatch as a game, having played a lot of the beta, having played, like about 10 hours since release, which is a good chunk of change considering that it's only been out for about 20 hours at this point. So I've pretty much no-lifing it right now. But I am really enjoying Overwatch as a game. Like, I love the beta. I had a lot of fun. I enjoy games that take a little bit more thought. And the thing about this is it has some character to it. Like, you've got this, like, storyline. I mean, it doesn't really make sense why we're all killing each other. Do we actually kill each other? Because wouldn't Tracer be erased from the storyline? I mean, maybe that's the things you're not supposed to think about. But I do like that Blizzard has sort of put some backstory with each one of these characters, and it makes it more fun to play. It gives you a reason to like a certain hero better than someone else. So I do appreciate that about it. It definitely has a fun factor that a lot of new shooters and just games in general lack in this day and age, and that's what I enjoy about it. Like, is it the deepest game I've ever played? No, definitely not. It's no Battlefield. It's no, like, you guys are going to cringe at this, but I would even say Call of Duty probably has more depth to it in terms of, like, shooters and mechanics and stuff like that. But that's not what Overwatch is about. It's about choosing the right class at the right time. I cannot stress that enough, and that's what I enjoy about it. You can play this game super casual if you want to. Go into it with a bunch of friends and have fun. But if you want to play seriously, I think there's enough depth to it, enough decision making where I think it's going to have a fairly decent shot at being a game that has some longevity to it. I know that's one thing people are worried about, but maybe you look at this from like an esports perspective, which at the base, a lot of esports dumb down the mechanics to the most simple. Like the original days of like the Call of Duty esports, you saw a lot of times they would strip a lot of the talents and a lot of the gimmicky things from the actual competitive side of things. So from the gate, here you go. This is Overwatch. It's ready to go, esports ready, out of the box. You don't have to make any changes in customization or anything like that. The options are clearly there, but I think there's a simple pleasure in the simplicity yet functionality of Overwatch. It's one of the more polished games too. I would say for being so hyped up, it had a fairly decent launch. Like there were very few server problems. There was some lag. I won't say it was a flawless launch, but there was some lag. Some people got it worse than others. I was pretty lucky, to be honest. Some of my friends said that they just were really struggling to find servers that weren't lagging. But I mean, it sure beats some of these games where when you log in on the first day, the game is just stuttering around and it's just an absolute disaster. So in terms of polish, it definitely had that. It feels like a finished game. Now, I'm going to address, I sort of started to talk about it, the longevity of the game. I know that is a valid concern. People are worried, like, well, will I be playing Overwatch in 6 months? I think so. I think there's going to be enough content that they can add. They can add new heroes, new game modes, new maps. There's plenty of options out there for people to get some differences in the game, and I think that will be something that we'll have to see how they address, but I would say that could be its Achilles heel, is just not having a lot of replayability. I personally think I'm going to be playing it for a while. I enjoy playing it. It's a nice change of pace, but let me know what you guys think. Do you think Overwatch has the potential to be a game we play for the next 2 years? If so, leave a comment down below, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the game. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Of the game.